The price of Bitcoin and many major cryptocurrencies absolutely freaking exploded late last week. A great way to welcome Uptober into our lives. Uptober is real. Q4 2021 is going to be freaking massive. Also in today's video, got some Bitcoin mining news as well as some information on the Bitcoin ETF, which apparently has a 75% chance of being approved in the month of October, which would definitely make it into Uptober. When that happens, holy cow. All of that and more in today's video. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing, so if that's a topic you would like to learn some more about, maybe just stay up to date with, then make sure you subscribe to the Lark Davis channel. Also, tap on that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. It'd be super appreciated. And if you do want to know when I put out a new video, make sure you click on that notification bell. Now let's go ahead and turn over to the charts. Bitcoin has come up against resistance. Obviously, this was amazing. Beautiful, beautiful candles. I mean, wow. Bitcoin, just when it starts going, man, holy cow. From $40,000 all the way up to $48,000. It gained $8,000 in 3 days. When Bitcoin gets going, get out of the way, man, because it moves fast and it's crazy. That being said, we are now at resistance. You can see right here that back in mid-September, this $48,400 line was very, very important for Bitcoin. It's exactly where we are right now, slamming up against resistance right there. Obviously, we need to overcome this to then start talking about hitting on this trend line. We'll get back to that in just a second. But if we fail this attempt and we do get any kind of price retracements, watch for buying in around $45,000 and $42,500. Those are potentially interesting areas to put in some bids if you want to play on some potential dips coming up. But we could cross that resistance real easy. I think there's a lot of bullish momentum that we started picking up going into October. But as always, you want to buy lower and then sell higher, or just buy Bitcoin for your long-term wealth accumulation. Also just that. I want to take a look here too at the weekly close for Bitcoin. We of course just have had our weekly close here. Beautiful green candle right here, engulfing our previous red week. Now we are starting off the week in a bit of a lackluster way, but 6 days and 21 hours left in this week. Lots of time for us to go on to challenge that area of resistance, break through that area of resistance, and then move up to our major area of importance, which would be conquering this green line. You see, until we get over that green line, Bitcoin is in a downtrend. It is. Right now, if we were to see this weekly candle, for example, get us over that green line, that would mean that the weekly candle would close above $51,000. We shall see if that happens or not. It's only a few percentage points away from here, but we do have to get over that sticky resistance here. We do have to get over our sticky resistance just around $50,000 as well, which was, of course, a very big area for us to try and conquer previously. And then, of course, to actually stay above that green line with a candle close. Not just a wick, but a candle close above that green line to say, hey, we're breaking out of this downtrend that essentially we have been in since April, and we are now potentially establishing a new uptrend for Bitcoin. So that is what I'm watching in the charts right now. By the way, if you want to buy yourself some Bitcoin, maybe some Ethereum, some Cardano, some Chainlink, some Polkadot, whatever your fancy might be, you need to get yourself an account over on BINANCE. You can buy crypto using more than 50 different fiat currencies. Use the link down below to start your account, and you're going to get 10% off of your trading fees and up to $700 in bonuses when trading futures over on Binance. Now let's go ahead and get into, well, the news. The news is that Uptober is here. Yes, October has been renamed Uptober officially. Check your calendars. It's real. It's happening. Let the light of the bull moon shine into your life. September was a rough month. You know, we finished the month in not the most exciting way, but it was what we expected for September. September tends to be a very lackluster month. Now, was it a self-fulfilling prophecy? Everybody was talking about September is not going to be such an awesome month, so it ended up not being it because of that, or is it just this is how it works out? We saw the China FUD coming in. We have this kind of just lull period in the markets. We have these corrections. Now, what has tended to happen, I feel like everything's going according to plan, and I know that history does not repeat, but man, oh man, it sure does rhyme sometimes. You have to remember, September 2013, 2 bull runs back. We had a big corrective period. September 2017, last bull run, we had a big corrective period. Q4 2013, massive gains. Q4 2017, massive gains. The Uptober doubters will say, oh, look, Lark Bitcoin can't go over $100,000 in Q4. Sure as heck can't get up to any of those crazy numbers. We're not going to $180,000 or $200,000 Bitcoin. That's loco, man. Here's the deal. Bitcoin rallied by over 300% in Q4 2013 and in Q4 2017. Learn your history, man. This is exactly what happened. Now, you may say, okay, Lark, but it was so much smaller back then. Bitcoin's not going to rally by over 300% again. Maybe it only does 200%, right? But a lot of the people having this kind of doubt probably think that Bitcoin can't even go over $100,000. Come on, man. Adding that much market cap, it's just too much money. It's another $1 trillion we need to add to the market cap. It's just not going to happen. It's too much, Lark. It's too much. I don't think that's the case at all. Because as you see the bull runs progress, what do we have happening? We have more money coming into the market, more ways for money to come into the market. If you were trying to buy Bitcoin back in 2013, it was no easy feat. It was hard to get Bitcoin. 2017, a lot easier to get Bitcoin, but still very difficult for a lot of people to get a hold of Bitcoin. Fast forward 4 years, we have banks selling Bitcoin, we have Bitcoin ETFs, we have your favorite payment apps like PayPal selling Bitcoin, etc., etc. All of that extra money means that we can push the markets higher. A 300% rally for Bitcoin, it is possible. Now, I'm not saying, yes, it's definitely going to be 300%, but I still think, regardless of the percentage point, whether it's 100%, 200%, 220%, whatever it might be, I still think that Q4 2021 is going to be something pretty crazy for the cryptocurrency markets. And based on the idea of lengthening cycles, I think we could even see this rolling over into Q1 2022 as well. But regardless of when we get a cycle peak, which could come early next year sometime, the run-up to moving towards that cycle peak, that's going to be happening in Q4. Starting here in Uptober, moving into Moon-vember, and I guess we'll just call it December. That works. In other news, why, oh why, might we get such a mega pump for Bitcoin? Well, I think a lot of it depends on a Bitcoin ETF being approved. And yeah, of course, there's other potential catalysts. If Facebook comes out tomorrow and says they've just bought $1 billion of Bitcoin, which would be like a fraction of their cash, you can bet your bottom dollar that Bitcoin would moon based on that news. Look what Tesla did. Tesla moved us from $40,000 to $65,000 Bitcoin. MicroStrategy, a relatively small and unknown company before they started buying Bitcoin, moved us from basically $10,000 up to $40,000. They kicked off the narrative of companies buying Bitcoin for their corporate treasuries. A Bitcoin ETF will indeed pump up the markets. Now, what we're likely to see is an approval and then a date when it actually gets released, potentially a couple of months later. So you're going to see that initial rev up. We're going to have a big pump on the announcement of a Bitcoin ETF. Then through the months or weeks leading up to the actual release of a Bitcoin ETF, you're going to see Bitcoin going up, 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 and probably sell the news as soon as the Bitcoin ETF is actually released. Again, we're probably going to get a futures-backed Bitcoin ETF, which is a garbage ETF product. Still, though, I think it provides us enough bull juice to pump the market, but it doesn't give us that beautiful long-term impact of all these people getting into the brokerage account, buying a spot-backed Bitcoin ETF, and getting real exposure to Bitcoin, because a futures-based Bitcoin ETF is not giving people real exposure to Bitcoin. They're not actually getting Bitcoin. They're getting paper garbage. They're getting, Wall Street's tricks. But regardless of it being a bad ETF product, it's still an ETF product, and it's still a damn big deal. Anyway, this guy from Bloomberg, he's giving it a 75% chance of approval in October. Will he be right? I guess we will find out. Certainly, the SEC has not been very favorable towards spot-backed Bitcoin ETFs. We have to give the SEC a come on, man, today, because they have postponed their decisions on Bitcoin ETF applications from Valkyrie, Cryptoin, Wisdom Tree, and Global X. You have to understand, there's no real good reason for the SEC to be delaying their decision on these Bitcoin ETFs. They're just procrastinating. They have no good reason not to approve these Bitcoin ETFs. The spot-backed ones, anyway. The only reason they're not is because they want to do the CME futures-backed ETFs because it's good for Wall Street. It's really good for the CME, who's going to make truckloads of money off of this. Not good for regular people, great for Wall Street. But I think, again, as I've been saying, that a futures-backed ETF, even though it's not the product that I want to see coming to the market, I hope that it will serve as the gateway drug to actually getting a spot Bitcoin ETF product released in the USA in the not-so-distant future. And finally for today, some light news for you. Texas is becoming, or wants to become, poised to become, a world leader in Bitcoin. Texas, in case you don't know, the 9th largest economy in the world, bigger than Brazil, Canada, and Russia. It's amazing. Amazing how big Texas is economically. What an economic powerhouse that just one state in the United States is. And they like Bitcoin. They like Bitcoin. There's a push to get more and more Bitcoin mining to come to Texas. And look, I've been covering the Bitcoin mining news for a very long time on this channel. Over the past couple of years, the majority of the absolute biggest stories around Bitcoin mining have been coming out of Texas. We now have probably half a dozen mega farms in Texas. Peter Thiel's invested in one. Bitmain's invested in one. We have publicly traded companies in the USA that are investing in Bitcoin mining in Texas. They're being powered almost exclusively by renewables. I'm sure there's some that are not powered by renewables, but we have a heavy, heavy mix of renewables in Texas powering Bitcoin, solar panels, windmills. It's making Texas into a Bitcoin mining powerhouse. If this trend continues, then Texas is going to become the new China in terms of being the leader of Bitcoin. They've got the energy. They've got the political desire to have it happen within their state. They have the infrastructure being built out. They have companies moving there en masse. During this most recent China crackdown, well, okay, not the most recent one, because the most recent one happened last week. During the China crackdown in, I think it was April, what we saw was a lot of Chinese companies saying that they were moving to Texas. I remember one of the CEOs of one of the big Chinese mining companies posted over on his Twitter, like, yep, just landed in Texas enjoying some Texas barbecue. They just move, man. They just move. And China's loss, and it's a big loss for China. You have to keep that real. They've thrown out an incredible industry from their country. They could have had all that tax revenue coming in from the Bitcoin miners. They could have had all that revenue coming in from the exchanges. They threw it all away. They want to Basically, throw away the next internet opportunity. At least the USA has come out to say, look, we don't want to ban crypto. We just want to regulate it. We'll make sure it fits within our framework. And that might mean that the crypto industry is going to have to swallow some tough pills when it comes to cryptocurrency regulation within the United States. We were going to see, being hard on developers, being hard on people trying to launch tokens, all this stuff, as it has been for a while. But here we have states innovating within the USA. We have some states that have been putting out legislation recently trying to welcome the cryptocurrency industry into their states. And here's Texas trying to become the world leader of Bitcoin mining. And it's a great fit because you can see this is average electricity retail prices. Retail, right? The miners end up cutting sweetheart deals and getting much, much cheaper power than this. But you can see Texas, right here, one of the cheapest states in the USA for electricity, which again makes it a great destination for Bitcoin miners. There you go. The top news of the day. Your question, do you think that we are going to get a Bitcoin ETF approved in Uptober? Or are we going to have to wait until Moonvember or poor old December, maybe next year? Maybe we're not even going to get Bitcoin ETF this year. Maybe we've all just been fooled into thinking that the SEC is actually going to do their job at some point. Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.